Does After Effects scare you? Does your animation look like this? But you want it to be like this. Do you want to learn smooth 3D camera movement and transition like this?
In 1936, Nazi Olympics Berlin. A lifetime event brothers were waiting for long. Rudy saw it as a great opportunity to pitch their shoes to all the German clubs he could find. As the business grew, it was time to move out of the laundry shed to the new factory, and the world's greatest rivalry was born.
Or intro like this.
Deception, slavery, cruelty.
I'm frequently getting this request to make tutorials on how to edit like Magnates Media and how to edit documentary videos. While YouTube is flooded with the tutorials on how to edit like Magnates Media, nobody talk about the process. Nobody talk about the process.
Until now.
Today you will learn few of the most important editing techniques such as Magnates Media. What exactly is editing like Magnates Media? Well, his most frequent style is creating a wonderful parallax effect like this.
World's first billionaire. With the exceptional ability to generate wealth, he was ruthless to the workers and built an empire with his monopoly over the oil business. This is the story of greed, power, and unfathomable wealth.
Have you ever wondered what makes Magnates Media video so unique? If a great video is like your favorite dish, then graphics, smooth transitions, overlays, expressions, camera shake, noise, grains, and sound design are all spices added in the right quantity. Wait, have I missed anything?
Like.
Not just 2, 3 or 5. You will get to have hands-on 3 projects and 10 scenes in this tutorial. You will not only learn how to edit like Magnates Media using After Effects, but you will also get access to all the project files and assets absolutely free. You will also learn the process, how to search images, how to write prompt to generate a specific image using AI. You will also learn how to use Photoshop to edit images and creating overlays, and so on. I will break down each scene step by step. So even if you are a beginner, after finishing this tutorial, you will be able to create animation like this on your own. I have assigned chapters to each part so you can skip the chapter you already. So let's get started. Alright, so I am in my After Effects and let's import all the assets needed to create this animation.
You forgot your intro.
Oh well, my name is Naresh and welcome back. Few of them I have downloaded and a few I have created using AI and some retouched in Photoshop. You can download them and the project file as well from the link in the description, absolutely free. So select them, drop them here. Now I am using this free script which is super useful to organize your assets into various folders. This is also available in the asset folder. Run it and boom. Let us create a folder pre-comp and main. And in main, let us create a new composition. Let's call it master. 9020 by 1080, 24 fps and 10 seconds would be enough. Let's create another composition, scene 1, and move it to the pre-comp folder. Now let's drag and drop this Beerman PNG to scene 1. I have generated it using AI. If you are a beginner and want to know how to create such an image, then continue, else you can jump directly to the next step. Suppose you have this one image and you don't know how to describe it or write a prompt to generate it using AI. It is very simple. Let the AI do your work. Use ChatGPT and upload that image and ask it to describe it. And it's done. Go to any free AI image generator and copy paste the prompt and it's done. See? Or you can literally describe the image, what you are seeing, and most of the time it works. It is good to upscale the image if it is not good quality using free applications. Alternatively, you can also search the image using Google Lens. So take the screenshot and upload it and search. Select the image you want to download. Make sure it is usable under Creative Commons. You can also refine your search using the tools option to filter out high resolution and Creative Commons license, etc. Removing background from the images is a very important step while creating a parallax effect. There are several ways to do that. Like in Mac, with a single click you can do that. Sometimes it is just good, but if not, then you have to choose other options. Online background removal tools. Just upload the image and it's done. It also allows the modifications like erase or restore the parts. This is another example. I usually prefer Photoshop as a lot of other things you do in Photoshop if needed, like image upscaling and other things. It is not easy when the image is complex and multiple areas needed to be removed. So drag and drop the file you want to use, click on remove background, and it is horrible. Let us undo it. You will use another quick method to do it. Select the image, add black and white from here, then bring down the reds, yellows, and greens. Again, add levels, make areas you want to remove white by adjusting the levels value. Now make sure to select this layer here. Go to select in the menu and select color range. Dropper will appear. Select white, select image, increase this value to 200. Check this invert box and click OK. Now select our image and from here add a layer mask so our mask is created. Now clicking on this select and mask, select the black and white. Using this plus and minus icons, you can again add and remove from the mask. Just like here, part of the building is removed, so you can add it and these other parts as well. Just like that. Click OK. Switch off these two layers for now. If some parts are left, then you can again select and mask and choose overlay and you can identify the areas. Select this minus and click on the areas to be removed and it is done. Convert it to smart object and delete the labels and the black and white layers. Let me show you another method also. So drag and drop the file you want to use. Click on remove background. So it has removed the background and created a mask. Make sure to select the mask and you can add or subtract from the mask. You want to remove this part, so you will select subtract and zoom the image for better and clearer view. Use the spacebar to move over the image. Select the opacity 100 and any brush you want. You can also add a black solid background to make sure that you have precisely removed the unwanted area. You can increase or decrease the brush size using the right or left bracket keys. It is time consuming, but the result will be awesome. And most importantly, you can work with all the images for your project or scene and directly import Photoshop file to After Effects instead of exporting PNGs and then importing them back one by one. So this is how you can restore the part of the image. Use a smaller brush size at edges and a bigger brush after working out at edges. You can change the brush to a hard brush to effectively remove the background. So this is the final result. Alright, this is another image where you can divide it into two parts, like one you want to remove, like the sky in this case, and the house with the ground. This time you will use the pen tool. So select the pen Zoom the image selected and make sure the path is selected and draw like this. Okay, so you have completed drawing and join the 2 points here. Now right click and make selection. Keep feather radius 0.5. Click OK. Now go to select and choose inverse. Press Command or Ctrl plus J to duplicate that part, and you have separated the part you wanted. Even using the pen tool, you can select the area you want to modify and write the prompt what you want to see instead of that area, and it's done. It has created 3 matching parts. You can select whichever you like. Now let's import another image here and drop it over here. Adjust the size and position. But you have a problem here. The shoes do not match and it does not have a shadow. But no worries, you can modify everything using AI. Select the portion you want to modify and click Generate. Select the most suitable version. Select the image and the layer created and group them. Convert it to a smart object. Select an area for generative fill and write the prompt and click to generate. Even you can highlight this man in a hoodie by adding a solid color. Change the color to yellow. Select this part and press Command or Ctrl plus I. Select the healing brush and use soft brush. Reduce opacity to 10 or less and tap over shoulders and other area where you want light. Create clipping mask so it won't affect other layers below it. You have to export the image as PNG, as the effect you have applied will not work in After Effects. These are a few important things you should know while gathering images for the project. Alright, back to scene 1. Let's add smoke video file. Press S for the scale and increase the size. You can reduce the opacity or change the blending mode to soft light so that you can just see the kind of haziness. Alright, now you can add another video file that is an ink spread file. You will use it for track matte. So let's bring it over here. Press S on the keyboard and scale it down. Okay, so this much is enough. It starts spreading from here. So just drag it and move it forward. Okay, now add this cloud PNG file here. You can flip it and transform the image by right click. Go to transform and flip horizontal and then vertical like this. So the shadow will not be a problem here, or you can use the image without drop shadow. Let us scale it up and move upward like this. Increase the size of the character also. Now let's add the logo file on the top of the everything and scale it up by pressing S on the keyboard. Now you can, for the time being, hide these 2 layers so that it is easy to work with the logo. Increase the size a little bit. Okay, now unhide the layers and select the track matte to the ink file MP4. Make sure it is Luma matte and it is inverted. If this option is not visible, then click F4 key to toggle the switch mode, or you can do it from here also. Then you can set it over the logo however you like, just like this. Scale slightly and adjust if the edges are visible. You can also adjust the starting point by moving the ink video file on the timeline like this. Even you can rotate if you wish to adjust the cloud layer by pressing R on the keyboard for the rotation. Let us see the preview. Perfect. Later on we will add some extra sauce. Press the F2 key to unselect the layers and use the U key to stack them. Alright, now you can directly add a camera and zoom it, or you can pre-compose it and do the same. So select all the layers, right click and pre-compose them, rename it if you want. Convert it to 3D from here, right click and add 50mm camera and click OK. Change it to 2 views from here. While working with a 3D scene, it is important to switch to 2 views. You can click and select the views window, and then from here you can change the top, right or left view, however you like. It will show the relative positions of layers in the 3D scene, so you can drag and move the layers by grabbing them by their X, Y or Z axis and see how it will appear in the active camera view on this side. Similarly, you can also move the camera. Alright, so select the pre-comp and grab the Z axis and move it over here. Increase the size. Select the camera and press P for the position. Add keyframe by clicking the stopwatch icon. Keep your playhead at the beginning of the timeline. Move playhead to 2 seconds or so and zoom it using this last Z value. You can also adjust the Y axis like this. Select both the keyframes and press F9 for easy ease. Click on this graph icon to open the graph editor. Select the handle and move it to make the graph look like this. Make sure you are editing the speed graph from here. Let me zoom it a little more. Alright. Change back to one view and your first scene is almost ready. Now create a new composition with name scene 2. 9020 by 1080, 24 fps and 10 seconds. Click OK. In this scene, you are going to create this. So open the images folder and bring all the images needed. Add this mountain image and scale it. Add black and white effect. To search and add an effect, what I just used is called FX Console by Video Copilot, and it is completely free. Select this image with a huge crowd and add. I have already demonstrated how to create images like this using AI and Photoshop. Add smoke video file. Use F4 or toggle switches mode to access mode. Change the blending mode to overlay. Increase the scale by pressing the S key on the keyboard. Let's bring the logo file. Convert all the layers to 3D. Change to 2 views. Select the bottom layer and put it far back in the scene. Here, by grabbing it using the Z axis. Also scale it up. Now also put this crowd layer before the mountain layer and scale it up. Then you have this logo. Move it over here. Now grab the X axis and rotate it forward like this and increase the scale. Move it backward and upward using Z and Y axis. Increase the size of this crowd image and its Y position. Now select this image and use this pen tool and create a mask like this. Around here, halfway, draw a mask. Then open the mask and increase the mask feather. You can play with the value around 100 or so till it merges with the logo. If the edge straight line is visible, then you can use mask expansion to decrease it so it has a minus value. You can select the mask and increase or decrease it. Now you can increase the size of the logo just like this. Also bring it down using the Y axis. Adjust other layers if they are visible at the edges. Now let's add that ink video file here below the logo. Convert it to 3D. Switch to 2 views and move ink file close to the logo layer. Select logo and change track matte to Luma inverted. Select and drag ink file to forward like this. You can reduce the size of the ink layer and adjust it over the logo layer. Adjust the mask size again like this. Adjust the feather amount and mask size till you get a satisfactory blending with the logo. Now it's up to you if you want to add some texture or overlay on it and play with its blending mode and see how it looks. I'm adding this texture overlay that I have modified in Photoshop, converting to 3D and placing it close to the logo layer using 2 views. Change the blending mode to darken. So I have opened this texture in Photoshop and then removed area that not needed and use cloning tool to do some cloning of few dots and then finally exported this file as a PNG. You can reduce the opacity of the smoke layer, then add a black and white effect to mountain and the crowd layers, but not on the logo layer. Now let's add a 50 mm camera. Select camera, press P for the position, and add initial keyframe, and add second at 2.12 or so by zooming it using ZX value. Select both the keyframe, press F9 for easy ease, and go to graph editor and make changes like this. So the second scene is also almost ready. Let's create another comp in the pre-comp folder. Let's call it scene 3. Let us start by importing some dark background texture. Adjust its size, press R for the rotation, and adjust it like this. Convert it to 3D, switch to 2 views and drag it to the back. Adjust the scale and position. Then import this fog video file and add it over here. Convert it to 3D, move it backward, import logo PNG, scale it up, convert it to 3D and adjust its position backward. Add ink spread file and convert it to 3D, move slightly backward, shift it below logo layer. Change the track matte to inverted luma and adjust like you did before. Select ink layer and fast forward it. Also adjust the size and position in relation to the logo. Increase the scale of the logo file just like this. Now add a black and white effect to the logo. Alright, now let us add images of the hands in this scene. So first this hand 1, convert it to 3D and adjust its size and position. Even you can rotate it using Y rotation axis. Scale and adjust the position. Alright, then add hand 2 and adjust its size, position, etc. after converting it to 3D. You can also select, right click and transform and flip it horizontally if you like. Let us now add this last image, convert it to 3D and move it slightly backward compared to the previous two. Adjust its size and position. Now there was also a red ink overlay in this scene. How to do that? Okay, let's add this ink spread file here. Right click and transform it just like you did before. Flip vertical and horizontal. Right click and add new solid. Change color to dark red. Click OK. Select both the layers and pre-compose it. Rename it as a red or whatever you like. Open it and select red solid. Change track matte to ink layer. Luma matte inverted. So you have now red ink spread overlay ready. Back to scene 3 and you can move it here so it won't start at the beginning. You can decrease the opacity or change the blending mode to add or screen. Convert it to 3D and move it forward. Okay, now let's add the camera 50 mm. Press P for the position and add initial keyframe. Move to 3 seconds and zoom using the Z value. Back to initial keyframe and zoom out. Adjust the other layers. Select both the keyframes and press F9 for ease and edit the speed graph like this. So all the 3 scenes are complete and now you can add text to it. So select the text tool from here and write the text. Give the font whichever you like. Convert layer to 3D, adjust its position with the logo and change to 2 view and bring it forward using Z axis. Decrease the size if needed and adjust the position. Alright, so somewhere around here you can animate the text. Select and expand the text. Click on animate. Click blur. Go to text animator 1. Click add property. Select scale and opacity both. Change the blur amount to 100. Opacity to 0. Scale to 150. Select range selector. Add keyframe to offset. Change the value to -100. Move 12 frames or 1 second and change the value to 100. Go to Advanced, select Shape to ramp up, Ease Low to 50% and switch on Random Order. And now you have this nice text animation. Select both the keyframes and press F9 for ease, and you can change the graph editor. I'm using this flow plugin, but you can do it manually as well. Increase the distance between the keyframes to slow it down and the point at which it should appear, like this. Now let's adjust camera option. Open the camera and the camera options. Add keyframes to focus distance and aperture. So this is focus distance. When it is aligned to the layer, it will be clearly visible. So initially you can place it on the logo. So this is our logo, and by changing the value of focus distance, you can see it clearly or blurry. Change iris to hexagon. If you increase the aperture, it will blur the background. And at the second keyframe of your animation, you can bring focus to text layer, just like this. Select the keyframes and press F9. So first focus is on the logo and it ends with the text. Similarly, you can also add text to this scene, following the previous step. You can just copy and paste the text and change the text matter and color. Also change the focus and aperture for the logo and text. Change the depth of the text layer using Z-axis. You can change the size, color, font and all. Change the iris to hexagon. For the first scene, it is a simple text. Also add the drop shadow and have this setting. Now you have all the three scenes ready, so you can now work on the smooth transition between these scenes. Let us do that. Go to Master Comp and bring all three scenes here. Place them 2 seconds apart like this. In this first scene at this point here, zoom in stops. So what you can do around here at this point, open scene 1 and select camera and open camera position and add a new null object. Parent camera with null object. Press P for the position, convert it to 3D and add first keyframe at this point. Go to master and move your playhead here. Again scene 1 and zoom in. Select keyframes and press F9 to ease. Also change the speed graph so you have this zoom transition. You can spread out the keyframes for smooth transition. Repeat the same between scene 2 and 3. So you have this continuous zoom transition look, kind of a match cut. Another one is a camera shake between the transition that you might have seen in Magnates Media videos. Let's create that. Right click and add a new adjustment layer. Rename it as camera shake. Add transform effect and slider control. Use command or control plus D to duplicate it. So you have two sliders. Now hold Alt or Option key and click the stopwatch icon of the position. It will open the expression window. Right wiggle expression. Pick this whip and attach to the first slider. Add comma and again pick whip and attach it to the second slide. So we have now two slider control that will control the wiggle expression. So basically these two wiggle values will be controlled by the sliders. Okay, now here 12 frames from the transition point. Add first keyframe to the slider. Come to transition point. Change the value to 3 and 10. Again 12 frames and make the values to 0. Alright, but because of the transform effect, edges are visible here. What you can do, at the transition point, add keyframes to scale and change it to 102. Press U to reveal the keyframes. Make again 100 with the other two frames. Select all the keyframes and press F9 to ease and change the graph edit. So it is having this kind of camera shake effect. Now you don't need this much layer, so you can trim it using the shortcut Option or Alt plus this bracket key. Duplicate it using Command or Control plus D and place it between the second and third scene. This is the final result. You can also turn on motion blur effect before rendering. You can add a new adjustment layer, rename it as Gaussian blur, and add a Gaussian blur effect. Increase the blur amount, select the ellipse tool, double click it and invert it. Then go to mask and increase the mask feather however you like. Okay, then duplicate the Gaussian blur, rename it as Vignette, delete the Gaussian blur effect and add a new effect, the Vignette effect, and adjust the amount. It looks great. You can add a colorama effect on the new adjustment layer if you want. Then play with the output cycle presets to give it a different look. Try to play with the transparency and see if it matches the story. You can keep it or delete it. One last thing you can do is add this 8 mm film roll and this other light overlay on top of everything. Pre-compose it and rename it as transition. Open it, change the blending mode to multiply for the upper layer and add for the second. Trim the second layer as per your choice as it has multiple transitions. Adjust the size and position and change the blending mode to add or screen. Trim it here and duplicate and place it above the second and third scene as well. So
deception,
we'll have this final result.
slavery, cruelty,
Okay guys, now you will create this superb 3D parallax scene out of a few still images using a 3D camera in After Effects. You will also learn how to use the puppet pin for moving a character's head, hands, or leaves of tree, anything like that. You will also achieve a smooth transition from one scene to the next. So let us import all the images and video files required for this project in After Effects and get started. We'll get everything free from the link in the description. We'll also need this free file. Let us import from here. If you are wondering, this is a MediaPlace that I use to organize my files in Mac. It is free and also has a couple of other tools like AI image generation, cloning, etc. You can check it out from the link in the description. Okay, now let's import the Photoshop file. Use these settings, retain layer size. Then you can run the script name order to organize your file, and it's free. You can find it in the asset folder. It will organize files into folders, which is so useful while working on large projects. Let's start by creating a new composition. Let's call it master. 9020 by 1080, 24 fps and 30 seconds duration will be needed. Let us import our first image, the Berlin Gate. Then this Dassler Brothers PNG file and convert both to 3D. Switch to two views and using this second view, move this wall layer to here far back using the Z axis. Press S on the keyboard for the scale parameter and scale it up. Bring it down using the Y axis. Also scale it down this brother's image. Bring it down grabbing the Y axis. Now right click and add a new camera. Select 35 mm. Enable depth of field. It is a 2-node camera. Click OK. Again right click and add a null object. Convert it to 3D. Parent it with a camera by picking this whip and dropping it on null like this. So now null will control the camera. Now press P for the position, add initial keyframe at the beginning, move forward 9 seconds or so and add another keyframe. Select both the keyframe and press F9 for easy ease. Come back at the beginning, make sure that you haven't selected both the keyframes. and grab the null using its z-axis and move it towards the gate layer. Then grab this y-axis and move it upward like this. More on this side and little up. Alright. Now move your playhead here and select null and use this pen tool and click on this end to convert it to vertex. Use this handle, grab it, drag and move it below like this to give this path a curve line. Let's play. Alright, now keep your playhead here at second keyframe. Don't move the playhead but move this second keyframe slightly here and add another keyframe. Okay, now you can place this keyframe to anywhere you want. Let us move it to around 13 seconds. Select both the keyframes and press F9 for ease. Select all three keyframes, open the graph editor, and you can double click or right click and select keyframe velocity. Check this box continuous and change the value of incoming velocity influence to 65. Click OK. Select this first keyframe and change the value of outgoing to 60 and click OK. Now select and grab these handles and move it upward. Make the single continuous curve, just like this. You can see here a smooth slope at the end. So what will it do? So it has a zoom out animation that is smooth and it doesn't stop abruptly, but it slows down at the end. Select the wall layer and increase the size. Now select null, keep your playhead to the last keyframe, add these 3 PNG file. You will use it for the transition. Convert it to 3D and use the second view to place it in the front, even behind the brothers layer. Scale it down and slightly move upward. Then set it in the corner like this. Let us preview it. See how cool the parallax effect is? You can move it further in the front part and adjust the size and position however you like. Alright, all set. Now keep your playhead to the last keyframe and using Command or Control plus D, duplicate null, press U to reveal the keyframes and delete the keyframes by clicking that stopwatch icon. Now carefully follow the steps exactly. Okay, now again add a keyframe corresponding to the previous null's last keyframe. Move your playhead to around 6 or 7 seconds and move this keyframe here. Do not move the playhead and parent the current null with the previous null. Okay, now move playhead to around 15 seconds and then use X position to move it on the left side. Let me switch to one view. Move it till the tree layer just disappears. You will use that tree for smooth transition between the scene. Select both the keyframes and press F9 to easy ease. Right click and select keyframe velocity and change the value to 65. Let us preview it. Alright, before jumping to the next scene, let's quickly finish the first one. Playhead at the beginning, add the sunset sky video at the bottom, convert it to 3D, select the layer. You should be in active camera, press Command or Control plus Home so that layer will be in the center of the view where your playhead is. So make sure that your playhead is at the correct place on the timeline. It has moved here in front of the camera. If you play it, you can see it small. So scale it to fit the screen. You can also add a black and white effect to the images and a tint effect to the video. And this is how it will look. I'm using this FX Console plugin by Video Copilot to search and add an effect right at the timeline. It is free and it saves a lot of time. Okay, let's undo it. Now let's add the text, move it at the beginning, select the text tool and type whatever you want. I'm typing number 9036. Convert it to 3D, press Command or Control plus Home, increase the size however you like, change to two views and move the text towards the camera and decrease the size. Bring it down till it just disappears from the screen. Alright, this is perfect. Change text color to white. To add number animation to it, switch to one view. Change the layer order to here. Add effects known as slider control. You can start animation from here at this point. Select text and text, source text, and pick whip and attach it to the slider. Add keyframe to slider, change value to 1900, and just about here halfway, change the value to 1936. Alright, let us see. There are many decimals to it. Double press E on the keyboard and edit expression like this. Math dot round and take the whole expression in the bracket. Select text and add a radial fast blur effect. Change zoom to brightest amount. You can do however you want. Duplicate the text using Command or Control plus D. Add colorama effect. Shift on the top above previous effect. Play with the output presets and set however you like. Select the sunset layer. Add tint effect to it. Select and change the white to black. Add keyframe to tint amount and at around here when text animation stops, change value to 0. Select both the keyframes and press F9. You can move the keyframes closer. Now it's good. You can also add another text if you want or something else after the previous text disappears, just like you did it before. Set color, font, size and position however you like. Alright, now select and expand the text. Click on Animate, select Blur, then go to Animator 1, click Add and select both Scale and Opacity. Now set blur amount to 100, opacity to 0, change scale to 150. Expand range selector, add keyframe to offset and change value to -100. Move playhead around 1 second or so and change value to 100. Expand advance, change shape to ramp up, ease low to 50%, switch on random order to on. Alright, so this is how it is getting animated. You can spread out the keyframes to slow it down. Go to graph editor and you can change the speed graph like this. Again go to text and click on add animator and select tracking this time. Select animator 2, add keyframe to tracking amount, change the value to 5 or 10. Select keyframes and apply easy ease using F9. Select text and add deep glow effect or use simple glow. Select exposure value to 0.2. Keep holding Alt or Option key and click on exposure stopwatch icon to add expression. Write posterize time 6, wiggle value of 10 and 0.02. Copy this effect and paste it to the text which was duplicated. Shift it on the top. Adjust the keyframes that you added to tint to speed it up. Now it is perfect. Adjust the size of the text. Alright, so this scene is complete. Let's move to the next scene. Select null, press U to reveal the keyframes, move playhead to second keyframe, and import images for the second scene. First add this ground, convert it to 3D, add this team photo, add this coach image, and convert all to 3D. Select all three layers, press Command or Control plus Home to bring all the images to the center in the current view. Chain to two views, grab this background and move it away from the camera. Then scale it, just the vertical position. Select the team layer and move it towards the previous layer just like this. Move it slightly down. Select the coach layer and move it towards the camera like this. Adjust vertical position, scale it down, also the team layer. Switch back to one view. You can see here the transition between the two scenes, but they are overlapping and messy. We will use this tree as a track mat to separate them. Now follow these steps carefully. These steps are crucial. For the track mat to work, this second last layer from the previous scene, Wrestler Brother, should be placed before the first layer, that is this house with ground, just like this. Else there will be a weird projection of the layers into each other. Scale it down and adjust the position of the layer. Do the same for the team and coach layer. Alright, so this is house layer is above the layers from the first scene except the tree layer. This might be a frustrating step and you may wonder why it is not happening. Move your playhead to around here and click on this draft 3D. Now you can see all the layers together. If yours is different from mine, then make sure to click here on the extended view. Now deselect layers or press F2 on the keyboard and click on the pen tool. Make sure that fill is solid and stroke to none. Create a mask like this. Convert shape layer to 3D, rename it as matte. Alright, now the position of this tree in 3D space should match the tree layer, specifically depth or z-axis. So select tree, press P for the position and select position and copy it. We are copying the position. Select matte, press P for the position, select position and paste the values. Both the layers are at the same position. Now an important part is to select matte and adjust the mask like this. So it covers from the middle of the tree just like this. So it is dividing. So the tree is dividing in a two parts, one covering the previous scene and other part is covering the current scene. Switch to one view. Now select this house and select the track mat. If this option is not visible, click toggle switches mode or click F4. Change the track mat to matte. Alpha matte is selected and invert it. Now you can see two parts which are separated by this tree. Also change the track mat of the team and coach to matte layer, inverted alpha matte. Let us preview it. For this weird part, select the matte layer and expand it just like this. Still you have to expand or you can trim the layers. Alright, still it is visible. So let us select all three layers and trim it here using Alt or Option plus this bracket key. Now it will not trouble you. But you can see here the Berlin gate looks isolated and there is a gap here. So bring it down. So bring down the sunset layer and increase the size of the gate layer just like this. So, how wonderful it looks. Perfect. Now, again, move to the second keyframe, add 15 seconds, and add another cloud MP4 file. Place it behind this house layer and convert it to 3D. Press Command or Control plus Home to place it in center of the view. And you can move this layer to here. Don't forget to track mate it. Switch to two views. This is the house and this is the cloud layer. Move the cloud layer behind the house. Also increase the scale. Let us preview it. So you have now a cool parallax with smooth transition. Perfect. You could do it by pre-composing all layers in scene 3, but then you have to use camera in that composition and do the animation and then track matte. Okay, now select this last null layer, playhead at 15 seconds and duplicate using command plus D, press U to reveal the keyframe. Delete the keyframes, add new keyframe here, move a few frames back about here, drag this keyframe here, then parent the camera with the previous null. Move your playhead around 22 seconds. Use this X value to move the camera to the right. Move till it disappears. Select both the keyframes and press F9 for easy ease. And then right click and change value to 65 for both incoming and outgoing velocity. Alright, keep your playhead here and let us add images for the last scene. Add this workshop image, Dassler Brothers here below previous image, convert it to 3D, press Command or Control plus Home, switch to two views. Now you want to put this workshop layer just beside the house layer of the previous scene. And this, as you can see, they are at the same depth level in second view. Great. If not, adjust the Z axis. Even you can directly edit the Z value. Now bring it down, select the Dassler Brothers and also bring their position down. Scale up the Dassler Brother layer. As these two layers are at the same depth in 3D space, they will look like they lie beside each other. You can see here. Now you can increase the scale of the sky, adjust its position over the second and third scene. Alright, so it is perfectly covering the sky for the both the scene. Switch to two views and bring back brothers like this using the Z axis. Select clouds and send it back slightly without affecting the other layers. Adjust the position. Send Dassler Brothers back and set the position. This is perfect. Now move your playhead to the last keyframe, duplicate null and follow the same steps. Move somewhere around here, move this keyframe, then parent it with the previous null, move to 27 seconds and zoom to the scene. Also change the Y position. Select and apply Easy Ease by pressing F9. You can also add a logo behind the character. So add these two logo here behind the character. So add two logo files, convert them to 3D, place them appropriately in front of the sky, a bit behind the brothers layer. Change the blending mode to divide. You can copy and paste the deep glow effect and colorama effect however you like. Select both the logos and press P for the position, add keyframes, move playhead forward and change its Y position. Do the same for the other logo as well. Select both the keyframes and apply Easy. Edit curve using the graph editor and it's done. Select layers that belong to the first scene and change their color like this, however you like. just for staying organized. You haven't touched the camera option yet, focus distance and aperture. Add keyframe to both the properties, move somewhere around here and change aperture to 220 or so. It will increase the blurriness to the background. Also increase here as well. Around here where the text is appearing, change to 17 so that you have text clear than these two characters. Switch to two views. This is our focus of the camera. See, I am moving it from here. I want it to focus on this layer here, like this, and here on the text layer. Changing this text position and adjusting. Select all the keyframes and apply easy ease. Move forward and here bring down the aperture. Change the focus on the tree so the tree becomes visible. Moving to the second scene, adding a keyframe to the aperture. Then moving forward, add keyframe to aperture, move further and increase again the aperture and bring focus on the coach. You can slightly increase aperture to the previous point also. Moving forward, add keyframe here. Moving forward, add keyframes here, forward and here. Set focus to two characters. Let's bump the aperture. Again set focus on the characters. Alright, so this is how you can set the depth using the focus and aperture settings. Let us preview it. Focus on text, then other text, then tree, coach, and then moving towards workshop and finally characters. Alright. Alright, so you have set the camera. Now the next step is just for the fun. How you can add movement in the characters using the puppet pin or like moving tree, leaves, etc. Okay, import this green screen birds file here above the tree. Convert it to 3D. Move it here. Now bring the Z axis of this layer to the same level as the tree. Add key light effect. Click dropper and select the green screen. So you have this birds flying video. Scale it down and adjust the position as per the tree, like birds flying from the tree. And trim this layer here using Alt plus bracket key. This was an optional step. Okay, now click here to isolate tree, select puppet pin and add pins to various parts. Preferably parts or leaves which are connected with the main branch, just like this. Now from the puppet menu, select the stars pin. This pin stiffens a specific area of an image, preventing excessive distortion when animating with the puppet tool, allowing you to control which part of an object remain more rigid during the movement. Alright, so this is done. It has already added keyframes. Move your playhead. Okay, only partial tree is visible, so come back here. You can later expand the keyframes if you need. Now grab any puppet pin and move slightly right or left, just like this. Do the same to the rest of the pin. Only puppet pin, not stars. Move forward and bring back to original position. Select all the keyframes and apply easy ease using F9 key. Then you can spread it out by keep holding the Alt or Option key. Okay, let's preview it. Adjust the spread of the keyframes for the smooth movement. This is good. So this is one time only. But if you want continuous loop, Hold Alt or Option key and click this icon. So expression window will open. Add the loop out expression. Now select right click and copy expression only and paste it to the rest of the pin. So you have now this continuous loop out. This will give more live and subtle effect to your scene. Select all the keyframes and shift them over here. Okay, now it looks good. You can also give motion to this head of the character just like you did. Add a puppet pins to two endpoints and start pin at the joint or junction. Move playhead forward and only slightly give tilt to head just like this. Move slightly forward and for the other head, move further and change to original positions. Press U to reveal the keyframes and apply easy ease using F9. And just like you did it before, you can add loop out expression. Spread out the keyframes if you want it slow. Similarly, you can also add the motion to the head of the coach layer also. Oh, that's a lot of keyframing. Now it's time to show how you can add some extra sauce which you can use in your After Effects project. You can take the note and save it in this order to recreate. So first, right click and add a new adjustment layer or use Command plus Option plus Y. Rename it brightness flicker, add effect levels, increase the highlight, press T for transparency, keep holding Alt or Option key and click stopwatch to add expression. Write posterize times 6 and wiggle 50-30. Second, duplicate this layer, delete previous effects, rename it as camera shake, add transform effect, hold Option or Alt and click stopwatch icon to add expression. Write posterize times 6, wiggle 15 and 3. Or I prefer 1 and 6. Also don't forget to change the scale to 100 to hide edges while shaking. Third, right click and add a new solid, change color to 80-80-80, click OK, add grain effect, change this to final output, preset to this Kodak Vision 200T, change size to 1.3, softness to 1.2, speed of animation 0.3, also add tint effect and pre-compose it, name it grain. Add levels and increase highlight, change blending mode to overlay. Even you can play with the transparency and set however you like. I'm setting it to 50. Fourth, a new adjustment layer is added with effect posterize time, change value to 12. Fifth, add a new adjustment layer, rename it Gaussian blur, add effect Gaussian blur, raise the value to 20 or so, select ellipse tool, double click to add mask, invert it and increase the feather amount. Sixth, duplicate it, rename it as vignette, delete blur effect and add CC vignette effect, increase the amount and done. 7. Add a new solid, any color, name fractal noise, click OK. Add effect known as fractal noise, bump contrast to 300 or so, brightness around minus 150 or so, complexity 6 or more, scale it down to 20 or 27. In evaluation option, click random seed while holding the Alt or Option key, add expression posterize time 3, random 1000. Change the blending mode to add, you have this white noise. For black noise effect, do one last thing. Duplicate this layer and add invert effect over it. Change blending mode to multiply and it's done. You have both white and black noise. You can always increase or decrease the size. You can also add some texture over it like this pale cloth texture. Scale it down, change the blending mode to multiply and play with the opacity however you like. you will get this kind of texture effect. Just before rendering from the camera settings, change the iris shape to hexagon for a better result of the 3D camera. One final step if you want to add light to the scene. Right click and add a spotlight, keep the intensity 100 and change the cone size. Shift it above the camera. Switch to two views and change this view to the left from the top. Rename light to spot as it is spotlight. Grab it by its z-axis and move backward and slightly up. Use this x-axis to face it downwards like this. Switch off, switch on. Wonderful. Move backward and adjust the cone angle. Link the spotlight with the camera so it will follow the camera's movements. Adjust the cone angle. Adjust the light intensity however you like or as per your scene. And this is the final.
In 1936, Nazi Olympics Berlin. A lifetime event brothers were waiting for long. Rudy saw it as a great opportunity to pitch their shoes to all the German clubs he could find. As the business grew, it was time to move out of the laundry shed to the new factory, and the world's greatest rivalry was born.
Alright, now you are going to create this scene. You can have these assets and project files from the link in the description. Select and import them. For the PSD file, retain layer sizes. Also all the video files. Run the script provided in the project file to sort all the assets in the folders. Click to organize and it's done. Let us create a new composition master 9020 by 1080, 24 fps and 30 seconds. Drag and drop this power station PSD file here. Rockefeller PNG file, these two factory PNGs. If you have this sky cloud video, place it at the bottom of the layer as it will go at the last in the scene. Convert all the layers to the 3D and arrange them in an order you want for the scene you want to create. Press F4 or click toggle switches mode if this option is not visible to you. The object closer to the camera will appear first and the object furthest from the camera will appear last when you animate the camera. Okay, so right click and add a new camera 50mm and change f-stop to 1.2 for initial depth in the scene. Right click and add a null object, convert it to 3D, parent it with the camera. In this way, the camera will control by the null. It is super important when you have multiple layers and multiple camera movements in all directions. Let us switch to two views and start arranging layers in 3D space before you animate the camera. Okay, so this view is an active camera and this one here is the left view. This is the sky layer and this is the camera. Move your playhead to 6 seconds, select null and press P on the keyboard for the position. Drag the camera using Z axis of the null around here, which will be the ending position for initial camera movement. Add a keyframe by clicking this stopwatch icon. Move the playhead at the start, drag sky to here, far back and scale it up by pressing S on the keyboard. Change the order of this character after the sky. Scale down this factory PNG image, this one also. Move up this power chimney. Alright, move this chimney towards the camera. Adjust the vertical position. Same way, adjust the size and position of these PNGs. You can take the liberty of arranging the layers however you like. You can duplicate using Command or Control plus D and place it like this. Same for the PNG file, scale it down. You can duplicate it and place it over here. Now select the sculpture and scale it using the left view and move it before the sky. Scale it up and adjust it. See how cool it is looking. So here is your sky and then these layers and then the camera. Let us add images of trees. Convert it to 3D, scale it down and bring it in the front close to the camera. Then there is another tree, convert it to 3D away from the camera and scale it down. Adjust it however you like in the scene. Duplicate it and shift on the side of the scene and front. Alright, so here will be your second position after the camera animation. So move at the beginning, select null and move the Z axis of the camera like this. Then use the Y axis, move it over the head. Okay, so you can see the camera will move like this. Select both the keyframes and press F9 to easy ease. Select the pen tool, click on the camera path, drag this handle and make this curve. So now it will have this nice path. Keep your playhead to the second frame. Move this keyframe around here and add another keyframe here without moving the playhead. Select both the keyframes and easy ease. Click the graph editor and make the curve look like this. You can also decrease the space between the keyframes and speed up the animation by holding the Option or Alt key while dragging these keyframes like this. Switch to one view. Now you will make these images darker. To do that, select and add effect known as levels. Here I am using this free plugin FX Console by Video Copilot to add the effect directly from the timeline. Alright, now increase the black and take the whites like this to make the image darker. Copy the effect, paste it to the other images and adjust if you want to this character also, and just reduce the blacks just like this. Okay, now at the beginning, black screen, so scale the sky video to cover. Add levels, select blue and reduce the blue levels just like this. Now add this lightning green screen video behind the character. Convert it to 3D, switch to two views, move it here, it will start from here. Scale it up. Add the key light effect, select the green screen and adjust the scale and position. Change the blending mode to oval. Press F4 if this option is not available. Add levels effect and take the blacks out. Alright, adjust the position and move towards the camera. Trim this layer from here using the Option or Alt plus this bracket key. Now add this fire particles video here after this chimney layer. Convert it to 3D and move its position before power station chimney. Change the blending mode to screen. Now let us add the text to the scene. Switch to one view, select text tool, select font and write whatever text you want to add. I am writing this. Convert it to 3D. Click Command or Control plus Home to bring it in the center. Switch to two views, move it here and increase the scale. Add radial fast blur effect, change to brightest and increase the amount to 70 or so. Add deep glow, change exposure to 0.1, hold Option or Alt key and click the stopwatch to add expression, write posterize times 6 and wiggle 10 and 0.2. So it will have this flickering effect. Now here it should appear, so add the typewriter effect and adjust the position of the keyframe. So it will start after the initial animation. Press F9 for easy ease. Move the text layer here, select all the layers and change the color to blue. Let us review it. Nice. Okay, now let us add a second scene. At this point where the first scene ended, duplicate the null, press U to reveal the keyframes, then delete all the keyframes, add a new keyframe here and move this keyframe over here. Only thereafter parent current null with the previous. Move your playhead to here and use this x-axis value to move the camera to the left side till the tree is completely out of view, just like this. You will use that tree for this transition between two scenes. Easy is the keyframes by selecting them and pressing F9. So this is how it moves. Perfect. Okay, adjust this tree. Fine. Now add all the files for the second scene below all the previous layers. Move your playhead here. Select all three layers you added. Convert it to 3D and press Command or Control plus Home on the keyboard. Switch to two views and take the background behind. Then this character in front, this gold stakes at the very front. See carefully. This is our tree layer and all others must be behind it to use it as an effective track mat. Adjust the scale and position as per the scene. Duplicate the gold stake and move it to the other side. Switch back to one view. See? This is how it looks. Alright, from here you can click and convert to draft 3D to see all the layers and make sure this extended view is active. Now without selecting any layer, or you can press F2 to do that. Select the pen tool and draw this mask like this. Keep the fill to solid and stroke to none. Convert this shape layer to 3D, rename it as matte and press P for the position. Now this shape should be at the same position and depth to use it as track matte. Select the tree layer, press P for the position, select the position and copy it. Select matte, position and paste it here. So you can see it is here in the same plane in 3D space. Select the mask and expand the mask over this tree. Only selecting half of the tree for masking and track matte. Just like this. Do some minor corrections at the edges. Now select all these three layers and change the track. If this option is not visible, click on the toggle switches mode here or the F4 key. Select alpha matte and invert it. Now you can see two scenes separated by this tree. Perfect. Adjust the position of this gold stake and the other one too. Scale it and bring it forward. Scale the character a little bit. Let us put this gold here, just like this. You can adjust a few layers in the first scene later on. But first, let us give some glittering to your gold. Add curves on the gold layer and bring it down. Copy it and paste it to the other as well. Rename it, select both, duplicate it and place it on the top. Select the first one and add another effect known as extract. Isolate the layer and bring this value down. Then adjust like this. So only the highlights are visible. And add a deep glow or just glow. Adjust the extract effect and glow. Increase the exposure value. Add levels and adjust to increase the highlight just like this. You can also add the flickering effect to a deep glow if you want, using the expression. Keep holding Option or Alt key and click on the stopwatch icon. Write the expression posterize time 6, wiggle 10.2. Do the same for the other gold sticks. Shift the matte layer here. Okay, now you can adjust the chimney layer, scale it up, adjust this factory image and bring it down. Okay, done. Now duplicate the null with the playhead here and delete all the previous keyframes. So around here, add a new one. Move forward, parent with the previous null and then zoom using Z-axis. Move playhead and change the Y position like this. Alright, so if it's fast, you can duplicate null instead of adding the keyframes to the current null and animate the camera. Select all the keyframes and press F9 to easy ease. Let us review. So you can add a third scene here. This is fast, but you can slow it down by adding another null and then adding the camera movement just like you did it before. Now here in this transition, it appears like a cross section of the landscape. How to do that? You can do this in Photoshop very quickly. So you have these two images in Photoshop. One is this landscape and the other one is like this cross section of the land, like it is cut through. You are going to blend it. Okay, make sure both images are converted to raster. I already did. Adjust the scale, select both the images, go to edit and select auto blend layers. Select stack images, uncheck content over fill and click OK. After adjusting the images and few trials, I got the result. Okay, here in your second scene, even you can change this animation path to a curve, just like you did in the previous part. This will give this smooth curved camera movement. Then drag these keyframes here. So it will start like this and then transition and zoom. Alright, now select this background layer and draw a mask over it like this. Go to mask, invert it and increase the mask feather. So edges will be blurred out, which will look cool between two scenes. You can adjust the feather amount later also. Move your playhead here and you can select and trim all the layers using the shortcut option or alt plus this bracket key. Select all the layers in scene 2 and change the color. Now add this green screen video having dollars falling. Drop it behind the character, switch to two views, convert it to 3D, command or control plus home to center it. You want it to start from here, so move it. Adjust the position behind the character, add the key light effect and take the green color away. Scale it down and duplicate it so you can place it before the character also. Just change the starting point so that they don't look similar. Alright, so this is how it will look. Great. For the next scene, create a new composition, scene 3, duration of 20 seconds. Let us bring this background here. Then these mountains, this man. Also add this sunset sky layer. Add a new camera 50 mm with these initial settings. Okay, you have not converted layers to 3D. Let's do that. Add a new null object, convert it to 3D and parent it with the camera. Switch to two views. So this is your camera. Bring it here away. Set the sky here far back. These mountains here. Scale it up. Adjust the position. Do the same for this mountain layer. Send this main background back just like this and scale it and bring it down. Then set the z axis of this character same as the mountain as he is standing on that. Else it will appear floating and weird. Scale it down a little bit. Adding some industry PNG, convert it to 3D, scale it down and set it in the scene, however you like. Make sure that z axis matches the main background layer. Duplicate it and place it here. Add levels effect and make it darker. Add levels to the sky and make it less orange. So this is the initial view and then zoom in. Select null, press P for the position and add initial keyframe. Come to 3 seconds or so and move this camera towards the sky and background layers, just like this, using the Z axis. Also use the Y axis to move it upward like this. Select the keyframes and press F9. Select pen tool and apply it on the path to make that curve, just like this. So perfect. Duplicate the null object using command or control plus D. Delete the previous keyframes and add a new keyframe at 5 seconds. Move to 7 seconds, parent null with the previous null and grab the camera and move it to the original position. Just like this. Easy is the keyframes using F9. Select the pen tool and make the path curvy like you did before. Alright, perfect. Select keyframes, go to graph editor and do this. By playing with the gap between keyframes, you can fast or slow down the animation. If any doubt, just check the project files for the reference. Alright, now add this fire video file here before the main background, convert it to 3D. Scale it down, move it backward and match the Z axis of the background layer. Change the blending mode to add. Add levels and increase the black. Adjust the position. Duplicate it and place it somewhere else. Isolate it and add a mask to remove the sharp edges. Invert and feather out. Change the position however you like. Add a new adjustment layer and add a colorama effect. Change the output cycle to fire and reduce the opacity to 50% or so. You can adjust the mask to remove these weird edges. I am deleting this one, duplicating this and placing it over here. It looks like a Xerox copy. To avoid that, just place one layer earlier or later in the timeline. Let us import the chimney smoke file into scene and arrange them properly. Put them here in front of the background layer. Convert it to 3D and scale it down. Change the blending mode to add. Always remember, while aligning such an object or a thing, their z-axis should align or it will float and look weird. Alright, so change the position here on the chimney and scale it down exactly the diameter of the chimney so you can see it perfectly fit and not floating. You have other such videos, so use them as demonstrated here. Don't forget this trick. Match the z-axis of the both layers. If the side edges of the video are visible, you can add levels and drag the black. Do the same for the other smoke layers. So it looks perfect now. Repeat for the rest of the chimneys. Now one important step. Go to composition settings, uncheck this lock aspect ratio and change the height value to 2000. Delete this adjustment layer. You can add it later. Add it again and the colorama effect and change the output fire and opacity to 50%. Okay, let us add the rectangle, change the fill to a linear gradient and create this rectangle box here. Click on this fill, select the first point, change the color to black, second also to black, select opacity, make it 0 and click OK. Now select this rectangle and change the gradient direction like this. Now put this layer here behind the mountain. So it will help to create more depth. Convert it to 3D, scale it up and bring it down like this. Switch to one view. So this layer adds some extra depth to the scene. Alright, now let us add text here. 3 seconds or so. Select text and font, whatever you like. Convert it to 3D and press Command or Control plus Home to center it. Switch to two views. Shift the text to here and move towards the camera. Adjust the position and size. Now let's animate it. Select text, click animate, select blur, go to animator 1, click add and select scale and opacity 1 by 1. Change the blur amount to 100, opacity 0, scale 150, click range select, add keyframe to offset, change value to -100, select advanced, shape to ramp up, switch random order on, ease low 50%, move your playhead few seconds, change offset to 100. Select both the keyframes, press F9 for easy ease. This is how it will animate. Select text and add deploy effect, exposure 0.2, aspect ratio 1.2, option or alt and click stopwatch icon to add expression. Write posterize times 6, wiggle 10.2. So we'll have this flickering effect. Switch to one view. Now we can add this scene to the master composition. So let's add scene 3 to master. On the top. From here in the timeline it should begin. Convert it to 3D, switch to two views, Command or Control plus Home and move it using the Y-axis. Adjust the position. Let us play. Alright, so this is happening because they are at different levels in the Z-axis. So let us align it just like this. So this one and our this layer. Okay. Okay, so animation in the scene start earlier before the complete scene is shown on the screen. So go back to scene 3 comp, select all the keyframes and move them to 2 seconds. So it will start from here. This will solve our problem. It will animate after the transition between the scenes. Alright, so this is good. Select the keyframe and move the Y position like this. Then this point onwards, the animation of the scene 3. Trim this sky layer here. Alright, so just like you did it for the previous scene, draw a mask on this scene 3 comp and increase the feather after inverting it. Expand the mask if needed and adjust the previous mask you draw. This way it will look nice rather than two scenes side by side. Select scene 3, press S for the scale, adjust the scale. Also adjust the mask. Add scale keyframe here at this point, scale it down to fit the screen. Adjust this text animation starting point from scene 3, bring it down. Scale this shape layer. Shift the keyframes of the text animation here. Let us review it. Add chimney smoke to this scene shown in the previous chapter. Alright, finally the last scene. Create a new composition, final scene, 9020 by 1080, 24 fps and 10 seconds would be more than enough. Import the house PNG here and scale it up. Select the pen tool and mask out the door. Duplicate the layer, rename it upper as a door, bottom as a house. Select the bottom, select a mask and select subtract. Select the door, press Y on the keyboard to change the anchor point. Pick this anchor point and move it here. Now convert it to 3D. So if you see by the Y axis rotation, you can close and open the door. Add the keyframe to the Y rotation at the beginning and 12 frames make it close. Easy is the keyframes and edit the graphs. Recompose both the layers and call it house. Click OK. Convert it to 3D. Add a new camera with this initial settings. Move your playhead to 2 seconds. Press P for the position. Add a keyframe to position. Then playhead at the beginning and zoom it through the door. Just like this. Select both the keyframes. Press F9 for easy ease and change the graph from the graph editor like this. Add a keyframe to focus distance and aperture. Move at the beginning and change the aperture to 18 or 20. Switch to two views and apply focus to the house layer and move focus on it. Shift these keyframes to here with the position keyframe. Around here, the house is still in focus. Okay, let us first add text here, then apply the camera settings for the last keyframe. Choose the font and the text you want to add, convert it to 3D and make it in the center. Adjust the size and position. Add the typewriter effect. Press U to reveal the keyframes and adjust them however you like. Add deep glow and set exposure to 0.2. Add expression to exposure, posterize times 6 and wiggle 10.2. Switch to two views, move text towards the camera and change the focus distance for the text, just like this. So the background house become blurred. You can also increase the aperture. That's it. Go to master at the final scene and move it in the timeline, just when the scene 3 ends. Let us preview it. Alright, now you will learn how to add this head and hand movements using the puppet pin tool. Isolate layer, select the pen tool and apply one pin here. And second here, you can see these 2 points separate the head from the neck. Now select star pin tool and apply it to the neck. This is how you will restrict the head movement beyond the neck, or else the whole body will move weirdly. Similarly, apply the star pin to the shoulders. Apply 2 puppet pins each to each hand, just like this. Alright, just after that, move your playhead forward and drag the puppet pin in one direction like someone is raising a hand, just like this. Do the same for the other hand and the head. Move your playhead forward. If the character is not visible, then you can activate Draft 3D. Bring the head and both hands to normal position. Press U to reveal all the keyframes. Select them all and press F9 for easy. Check the preview. If it is very fast, spread out the keyframes. Select all and keep holding the Option or Alt key while dragging them. Alright, this looks great. Deactivate Draft 3D It is very slow, so you can bring them closer. Go to master, and now it is time to explore the camera options for depth and blur. Switch to two views while the playhead is at the beginning and add keyframes to focus distance and aperture. Change the initial focus distance on the sky and aperture around 20. Then around 2 seconds when this character is in the frame, change the focus on him. You should know which is which. Increase the aperture for the background blur. Then here focus on the text. Then this character in the second scene, now at the beginning of the transition. Just bring down the aperture. Then go to the scene for this camera property. Add keyframes to the focus distance and aperture. Switch on the two views. This is your background layer. Change the initial focus on that. And increase the aperture for this blur. Around here, set it to text. Go to the master and you have finished applying the depth of field for the camera. Now it's time to apply some tricks that separate the simple editing from the pro. Okay, go to scene 3 and copy and paste this coloroma effect that you used to here at master, rename it. Trim it here, you don't need it for the second scene. Play with the opacity and set the value however you like. Alright, we forgot to trim this lightning layer, so trim it here and only keep this much part. Press Command or Control plus Shift plus Y to add a new adjustment layer. Rename it as Brightness Flicker. Add levels to it and up the exposure by dragging it down. Press T for opacity. Click stopwatch while pressing the Option or Alt key and write this expression posterize times 6, wiggle 50 and 30. Add a new adjustment layer. Rename it as Camera Shake. Add transform effect. Hold Option and Alt key and click position stopwatch to open the expression window. Write posterize times 6, wiggle 15, 3 or just 1 and 6, whichever you like, fast and slow respectively. Go to the layer, add a new solid layer, keep color 80, 80, 80 and add grain effect. Viewing to final output, preset Kodak Vision 200T, size 1.3, softness 1.2, animation speed 0.3. Also add tint effect and pre-compose it. Make sure to move all attribute into a new composition and name it grain. Add levels to it and play with the value to get a more crunchy look. Change the blending mode to overlay. Even you can play with the transparency if you don't like this much grain. Add a new adjustment layer, rename it posterize time, add posterize time effect and change the value to 12. Add a new adjustment layer, rename it vignette, select ellipse tool and double click to add mask, invert it, increase the feather, add vignette effect, change the value to something like this and adjust the feather amount. Add a new solid of any color, rename it as fractal noise, add fractal noise effect, bump the contrast value and brightness as shown here. Also adjust complexity and scale. Go to the evolution option and hold Option or Alt key. Click random seed to add this expression. Posterize time 3, random 1000. Change the blending mode to add. Duplicate it and add invert effect and change the blending mode to multiply. So you have black and white fractal noise. Finally, you can also add light. Select a spotlight. Put it before the camera. Switch to two views and using the Z-axis, drag away from the scene while the playhead is at the start. Parent light to camera so it will follow camera movement. You can from the light settings increase or decrease the cone angle. Let us drag it further away. That is it. So if you switch off the light, again switch on. Cool, isn't it? Similarly, add a spotlight in the master and do the same. You can trim it here as we have it inside scene 3.
world's first billionaire. With the exceptional ability to generate wealth, he was ruthless to the workers and built an empire with his monopoly over the oil business. This is the story of greed, power, and unfathomable wealth.
The initial animation you saw are flying planes. That is from Magnates Media's Volkswagen video. Do you want me to create tutorials on how to create such animation? Then write down in the comments and see you in the next one. Hey, wait. You are watching my videos but not subscribing. Come on, man, it's free. Subscribe.